You're right, Jenny. Andy Burnham is with me now. Welcome. He's the man that looks after the money on behalf of the Chancellor and the Prime Minister. Let's see if we can rattle through a couple of contemporary issues at the moment. This council tax rebate for servicemen that you're now going to give them, about £140 they're going to get. Is the Treasury going to come up with this money, or will it come out of the Ministry of Defence budget?
Well, people should wait for the details, and they'll be published soon. But the idea is that it's fair to our servicemen in Iraq and Afghanistan.
No, I know the case for
sure,
it.
Okay,
But where's the money coming from?
Well, all the details will be laid out in the spending review. And the spending review, as you know, Andrew, is coming.
The spending review can't be to do with a £140 rebate.
Well, all the details will be published in the spending review, which is coming next.
If it's not new money and it comes out of the MOD, that means that from the defence budget, in order to give them a council rebate, there will still be not enough body armour to go around. Our troops will still be going around in thin-skinned vehicles instead of properly protected vehicles like the Americans. You would just be shifting money, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well, you make it a very important point, and obviously there wouldn't be any compromise at all on the safety of troops. But the reason I refer to the spending review is that we have actually come to a settlement with the Ministry of Defence about their spending in the next period, in the next 3 years, and that amounts to a 1.5% increase in their real terms budget. But there are some costs of military operations that are met by the Treasury from the Treasury Reserve, so they're
have to wait.
So they're on top of the Treasury budget.
Let me ask you this: if you're a prisoner in Britain, if you're in prison, you don't pay council tax at all. Why should our men and women fighting in Afghanistan, in Iraq, be paying council tax at all?
Well, I think that's why Des has said the thing that he said today, and I think there's a general issue about.
It's not fair, is it?
Well, I think that's why we're trying as a government.
The bad guys pay no tax, and the good guys, defending our freedom and liberty, putting their life on the line, they pay council tax.
Absolutely, and there's some important points have been made in the last few days about how, as a country, we treat our armed services, particularly at a time when we're asking so much of them. And as part of the spending review we're coming forward with, a lot more money will be going into forces accommodation. And again, that's an issue that has been highlighted. Gordon Brown, Alistair Darling and Des Brown have seen that, they've heard it, and they've taken some action to improve the situation.
Northern Rock caused you all sorts of trouble, caused its depositors even more trouble. Do you think it's right that this company should now be paying an interim dividend of £60 million to its shareholders, 30% more than last year? What have the shareholders done to deserve that?
Well, it's true to say that last week was a difficult week, not least for the people in the queues around the country. I'm going to come to your point.
I mean, we know the problem.
No, it's an important and a complex situation. It's important to just lay it in context. I would say that there are lessons from last week for everybody. Actually, there are lessons for the government. There are lessons for the regulators. Andrew, listen, but there are also lessons too for the banking industry and this particular company too.
Should this dividend be paid?
They are matters for the company. They are matters for the directors of the company, and they are not matters. I think you of all people, Andrew, would not expect a government minister to intervene in the matters.
I would, because Gordon
a boardroom.
Gordon Brown said yesterday in this very hall, company boards have obligations to the rest of society.
Of course they do.
The rest of society is guaranteeing the deposits of Northern Rock. So it is our business. Now, why don't you just tell them, as Chief Secretary, do not pay this dividend?
Well, I said very clearly that there are lessons for everybody in this, and there are obligations, quite rightly, as you say too, of the board of that particular company to take decisions that are responsible on the back of the events last week.
But Minister, you've effectively nationalised this company by guaranteeing the deposits. So why don't you just tell it, stop this dividend nonsense, you don't deserve it, you of all people should not be getting it.
They are matters for the company. They are matters for the directors of Northern Rock. But Andrew,
So when Gordon Brown says companies have obligations to the rest of society, it's meaningless.
It would be nice to answer. They are matters for the directors, but you would hope that they would take their decisions in real cognizance of the events of last week, and that they are sensitive to the difficult events, particularly that their own saviours faced last week.
In his last budget, Gordon Brown said that he would cut borrowing this year. It now looks like it's going to be more than last year. Why is that?
Well, the pre-budget report and the comprehensive spending We'll lay out all of our plans for the
No, but this is for the current year.
I know.
We now look like we'll borrow more than he originally said. Why? If the economy is doing so well.
Well, the economy is in extremely good shape.
So why are you borrowing so much?
We've now had 10 years of consecutive growth. And as you know, Andrew, Gordon Brown laid down some very strong fiscal rules around the way we manage our economy. What you'll see in our spending review is not huge increases in public spending. We're going to see responsible.
I understand all that, but you will know as well as I do that this year's borrowing has nothing to do with your spending review. But let me ask you this. Derek Wanless, the man who drew up his report on health, and on what you've based this huge increase, he's come out with another report saying the health service still needs, for the foreseeable future, an extra 4.4% increase a year. Is he going to get that?
Again, wait and see. And I'm afraid you'll have to wait and see as well. But Derek Wanless did do a very important report. He also said, I think I'm correct in saying, Andrew, that the NHS could get better value for taxpayers' money. And I think everybody, too, would look to the government. Yes, let's give the health service. And as a former health minister, I know this very
you do.
Let's give the NHS enough to keep pace with modern society. But at the same time, they do not want us just to funnel money into the National Health Service without asking for clear returns for the public as well. And I think that's where most people are.
Fair answer. We'll wait and see. We'll be doing a live comprehensive spending review show on the Daily Politics.
After today, I really look forward to that after today.
I wouldn't be holding your breath on the health service getting 4.4%, but we will wait and see. Jenny?
Thanks very much, Andrew. Well, let's